All right, Kareem. So, can you tell us what your business is and the service you provide?
My business is K13Images. It primarily, the base specifies in photography, wedding photography, newborns, portraits, a little bit of everything. I'll just give some background. I do have a degree in photography and I also have a degree in marketing. So I do that. I do some video, but my specialty is stills, portraits, and in that area.
Okay. All right. So that's good. So tell me a little bit about you. Where'd you get your degree from? Your background?
I actually went to Florida International University. That's where I got my first degree in marketing from. Then I was working in corporate America for a bit, and then I had a passion for photography. I didn't take it that seriously. And 2008 kind of hit, and then I was like, everybody was belly up.
Yeah.
Things was chaotic. So I kind of wanted to go in a different direction, and I got laid off. Got a wonderful severance package that said, "Thank you very much for your service.
Right.
We don't need you anymore, or we can't afford you anymore." And so while I was sitting down here, rather than feeling sorry for myself, I was like, you know what, let me start doing this. So I started doing photography. Took that first year to kind of go around and apprentice under some people.
Right.
And that helped me gain a little bit more experience.
Okay.
Once that happened, things started going from there. And in around about 2012, I was like, you know what, I feel like I want to go get a degree in it, just because I figured as a business, you have to have that documentation, that paperwork.
Right.
So I said, I already have a marketing degree, but I also wanted a second degree so if anybody could ask me a question, I was like, look, I know what I'm talking about. I know what looks good from a business marketing standpoint, but I also know what's good from a photography standpoint, because I do have the documentation. Plus, I have the years of experience.
Right. So, what year would you say you started K13Images, or how long?
I'd say I started it myself. So about 2009. I dove into it. That was my first ever wedding. It probably was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done in my life. It was a wedding in Orlando. I drove to Orlando. They put me up on their couch. And somebody that I knew, they fed me, they paid me, which was great. And then I shot the wedding, and I was just like, man, they're putting their faith in me, and I hope I don't mess this up. So it was a little nerve-wracking.
And that was 2009?
2009.
Okay. And 9 years later, you did my wedding?
Yeah, 9 years later, I did your wedding. Yes, 9 years later. So I had 9 years of experience. It definitely wasn't my first rodeo.
So, do you have any employees, or have you had any interns?
Yes, I've had an intern before, and I have employees. Well, it's okay.
Contractors, maybe?
Yes, but it's like they're not, but they are. But I had one person who was definitely a full-time employee. And I had one person who was kind of there in terms of contract, who I outsourced to in terms of doing like books or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
But I did have an employee that worked with me, and a dedicated assistant who would basically help me to do the rounds. So
let's say after COVID, when everything's back to normal, would you ever be looking for an intern, or would it be some would an intern help you out, or would it something you'd look for in the future? Honestly, it really depends. I was not against it before, but just to be completely honest, I'm not saying I would never be against it again. But after COVID, after this recovery, I need to get the ball rolling again, because to dive back into trying to basically, this is what it is. It's going to have to rebuilding. It's almost rebuilding a business from scratch at this point, right? Because it's been with several months without work. Right. Weddings have been shut down. They have some weddings, but people are very hesitant. That fear is there, so it's gonna take some time. I don't mind it, and I'm open to it, but it has to be the right situation. And so you mentioned earlier that this is your full-time job. This is your 9 to 5. Yeah. This is your wake up to go to sleep. Yeah. Right. This is your job. So, what do you feel is the importance of minorities having their own businesses? Well, first off, let me say. I don't want to answer it as minorities, because we are definitely a frat of inclusion rather than exclusion. This is true. So we don't have only what we see as minorities. And we as people need to be self-sufficient. Right. If you're looking from a minority aspect, I think it's very important that you have a business as a black man or a black woman, because you can then give back to your community. You can help to empower your community. It's very important. People and children especially need to see people working hard.
building, building their businesses, building their wealth, as well too, in ways that we can give back to our communities, as well as incorporate our communities. And it's important to have that support from the community as well too, because that is how we build wealth, and that the importance of that will help us to get to higher levels. We can't do anything in this country, especially America, without economic or financial stability, and that's one thing that's extremely important. There's a lot of programs that are out there where plenty of people will get either whether it be loans or grants that are just sitting there. I know, especially in these times, that's helped me because I've kept my business in order and done the books properly, or at least kept like my business up to date.
Correct.
I've been able to reach out and at least get some sort of help, and it's like, it's not necessarily a handout, but I think of it as, okay, I've put in the time and effort, now it's there. But it's very important to have your own business, to have something of your own. And it's also equally as important not just to have a business, but to have support from that same community.
Right. So, and I know that with COVID, it kind of changed things, but what's the goal, or what do you see your business in the future? Do you see yourself having your own studio and people coming in, or you kind of like the freelancing? Like,
when I set my business up, I had it done as not just a photography company. I registered it as a media company in a sense, because for me that way, and also a couple of things, that way it was be able to be expansive. Mm-hmm. I do want to be able to build it to a point where I can benefit from this and diversify into other areas, whether it be something that it be, who knows, maybe if I could be teaching a class eventually in the future, whether it would be offering like services in terms of portraits right there. I would like to have a studio eventually, a dedicated place, because that just helps. That is a goal for the future, but at the time I used to travel a lot with my work. Right. So it didn't make any sense for me. But now, given the state of things now, I'm like, you know what, sometimes setting down a little bit more of a solid roots is the way to go. As well too, for me, I guess, world domination. I want to use this. I'm forever gonna be in photography.
Right.
But I wouldn't mind branching off into other areas where I can utilize my photography skill and knowledge, whether it be in terms of film, not filming behind the camera, right, but there are staff photographers who are set up on movies and who do promotional material and everything like that, things of that nature. I do want to diversify into a platform where I'm doing more of a corporate structure of things, whereas that way I'm doing a corporate contracts I've set up. So, I can still do the weddings and I can still do portraits and everything like that. Mm-hmm. It's about working smarter, not harder. So once I have those corporate contracts set up, and then I can then go to expand and possibly employ other photographers once they have a certain dedication, in a sense. Because it's all about branding. It's all about the brand. You don't want someone to send somebody out on the job and right, they don't deliver. But I would like to be able to get that point where I don't have to be the one always going out there. That I have somebody, even if somebody's who's coming up, even if they're not going to stay there, like, hey, come up, be a photographer under my brand, shoot, mm-hmm, the quality, and then boom, you go to another level.
I like it. What advice would you provide to other entrepreneurs or other small business owners?
First off, register your business. Whether it be an LLC, it's not that expensive. It's a good thing to have, as well to have a business where you can have it structured properly. That's going to be beneficial to you, because at the end of the day, you need to make sure it's just because you get money from your business, you need to have that structure of setting your business up. Your business comes with those funds first, and then your funds are second. You pay yourself second to your business. Pay your business first, pay yourself second. That's one, because you don't want to have, I made $1,000 and put $1,000 in my pocket. No, it's not going in your pocket. You don't need it. You don't need $1,000. It also helps in terms of when it's taxes. Also, gain knowledge. I don't want to say educate yourself, but gain knowledge on how the business structure works. Gain knowledge on programs. Things I would say is, in terms of business, there's a triangle of service. There's going to be customer service. There's going to be price. And there's going to be quality of goods. Most times, actually probably 100% of the time, you're not going to be able to get all three at the same time.
Right.
Because if the price is too, in terms of customer satisfaction, if the price is too high, people are like, oh, the price is too high, they're going to complain. So you'll never have all three.
Right.
But you still need to strive to have good customers. That's number one. I think everybody has to have good customer service. Also, arm yourself with the knowledge to put your business in the right light. You have to be able to provide a good quality product. Also, have the knowledge of what's going on in business. What are the laws of your country? What programs are available so you can benefit? Because there are some local, like for example, if it's going to be Miramar, Miami, wherever, there's certain cities that give businesses grants or programs or opportunities. You have to be up on that. You have to pay attention. You have to either ask, you have to know, so that you can put yourself out there. Arm yourself with knowledge as a businessman in terms of how, and also just push forward. How can they contact me?
Yes.
Everything is K13Images. You can K13Images@gmail.com. Instagram is K13Images. Facebook.com/K13Images. My phone number, 954-235-4109. I do also have a secondary Instagram I just started primarily for wedding work. K13 Weddings. Or you can ask a brother, anybody in Rho Sigma. I am the easiest person to find. I kid you not. I am the easiest person to find at any time.
Good.
All right.
Oh, there we go.
All right, cool.